All right, thanks for joining, everybody. If you have a question for Mike Petersen, please raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm good, Spencer. How are you, my man? Can you hear me,
I
Spencer?
think the sound cut out.
Hold on.
Mike, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay, good.
Spencer, you want to try again?
Can you hear me now, Coach?
Of course.
All right, perfect. I think my internet cut out for a second. So Nikki talked a lot about the backcourt and how, they're potentially going to play together on and off the ball. I'm curious if you could kind of expand on that and talk about what your specific plans are for playing, Ari and Kennedy together, or, Odyssey and Courtney together, and how, you're going to be able to pair players who are really good on the ball with kind of maximizing their talents off the ball as well.
Yeah. So your job as a coach is to, am I still on, Kels?
No, your video cut out.
I'm fine with that as long as, Spencer, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. We'll figure out the video later. Hold on, start my video. Man, technology's awesome. There you go.
There you are.
Are you still with me, Spencer?
He's here.
Beautiful.
Go for it.
Okay. So as a coach, your job is to help your team maximize their potential, right? So we've got a lot of players that are small. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? So you talk about small guards, right? So Odyssey, although these players aren't tiny, but not big, right? Odyssey, Kennedy, Courtney, Ari. I mean, Tori's not very big, right? If I left somebody out, I apologize. And so our job is to get the best players on the floor, and we're going to do that. I told the team that 30 years ago, somebody decided we should put numbers on players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the last 30 years, basketball coaches have been trying to fit players into these little boxes. And I think it's silly. I've always thought it was silly. Basketball players are basketball players. Everybody has to be able to pass, dribble, and shoot. Everybody has to play defense. So I'm just going to play the 5 best players. I mean, against Washington, we had Ari, Odyssey, and Courtney out there a ton. We had Odyssey, Kennedy, and Courtney out there a ton. I frankly told the players before the game, I got no idea what position you play. But if I don't know, the other team's got no chance. So we'll just work it out. It should be a fun group.
B. Terrell, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well.
I'm glad.
So two games in, 2 preseason games or scrimmages in, you've seen some success. Does that make it tougher to make these decisions on narrowing down the roster?
Well, making roster decisions is always hard. I mean, we've got 15 really good people. We've got 15 really good basketball players, right? And so when it comes time in this profession to cut down to the final roster size, you're taking away somebody's job, and that's just never easy. It's never a good thing. Okay. And so, I think these players have, there's not a player on this roster that hasn't given us something, right? Some reason to keep them. Okay. But we can't, right? So when the time comes, we'll have to cut down, and we're going to cut some really good basketball players no matter what we do. Our job is try to assemble the roster in the way that makes the most sense to give this group of players the biggest opportunity to have success.
Next question's from Eric Wilson. Go ahead, Eric.
Coach Petersen, I appreciate your time. I just wanted to ask you, as you and the team make the transition from Coach Collins to now you, have you seen a change like within the team, or has it just been more business as usual and you have transitioned and they are following?
Yeah, I think the second one. Okay. But Like, we had a great practice today. We had a great practice before we went to Washington. Okay. I'm just frankly not that hard to get along with. I mean, I don't know. I know that sounds like a humble brag or something, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to encourage you to do good. I'm going to expect effort. I'm a short practice guy. Okay. And I told the players, I'm always going to respect your time, and I expect you to respect the game. So we're going to go quickly. We're going to have great pace, and I won't put in a drill that's a waste of time. So play hard every time. And they did, right? So I haven't felt a big, that's probably a better question for the players. You know what I mean? I've just been, I've been me a really long time. And so I'm just me being me.
Spencer Nussbaum, we'll go back to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just following up on B-Trail's question.
Yeah.
With these roster decisions, whether it be, cuts or eventually trades, depending upon how things shake out, I'm curious who's in the room making those decisions, and then who eventually gets the final call.
Well, we have a process, and it involves Darius and I, and it involves the ownership group. Okay. And Darius and I, our job is to provide the ownership group with information. Okay. And the ownership group's job is to make decisions. Okay. And I think we've got a very, we've in the last several days, Darius and I have talked a lot to Renee and Larry and Suzanne, a lot. Okay. And I think we've got a very comfortable communication line. I think we've got a very comfortable decision-making process. Okay. And so, coach is coach. I'm a coach. Okay. And Darius is going to coach, and we're going to communicate to the ownership group what we think is the evidence that goes with building the best roster. Okay. And they've been very good about saying, hey, we don't want to micromanage you, but we want to be a part of the process, which, why wouldn't they? They're the ownership group. That totally makes sense to me. But we've very much been on the same page here, right? Hashtag same page. Okay. We've very much been on the same page during this process. So it'll be a cooperative effort, and it'll help us come to the best decisions.
I like that hashtag.
You're welcome. Hey, all of a sudden, I'm a social media guy. The guy that has zero social media, that would be me. All of a sudden, I'm social media guy. I don't know how it happened.
You're windmill guy.
I'm windmill guy. And trust me, I didn't wake up thinking I was going to be windmill guy. I don't know. My son, hey, I told the team this. My son told me, I talked to him like 2 nights ago or something. He said, Dad, Twitter says you got bars. I don't know what bars are, but I hope they're a good thing.
You do got bars.
Well, I just hope it's a good thing. That's all.
B, we'll go back to you for the last question. Go ahead.
That is so ironic. That actually takes me into the question. Speaking of hashtag and social media, that windmill quote was definitely something that had Twitter and everything else up in a storm. And so everyone loved it. So now, are we going to be getting some of those little nuggets throughout the season?
Hey,
He's going to have you mic'd up throughout the whole year.
No, please don't mic me up. It's not good for anybody. So 2 things on that. Okay. First thing is, I didn't know it was going to get posted to Twitter. Okay. Second thing on are we going to have quotes like that? Here's what I can tell you. Okay. My college players have a whole book of what they call Coach Pete-isms, because that's what they called me in college. Okay. And I know that some of the staff here have been keeping them the last 3 years. They call them Mike-isms. Okay. So as Popeye the Sailor Man used to say, I am what I am, and that's all I am. Okay. So you're going to get me every day, and I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. But the windmill thing, I guess, was kind of fun. Let me tell you what was the most fun selfishly. Okay. For me, the reaction that my former players, especially at Wake, had because they were the most kind of the ones I was closest to here in the last little while. Their reaction to it on their social media, it made me like smile and cry at the same time. You know what I mean? And you know, they've been around me the longest. They kind of get me. But the fact that they enjoyed it and they thought it was genuine, right? That was out of all the social media gobbledygook, right? Their reaction, the reaction of my Wake Forest crew, that was pretty special. That made me both smile and cry.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
All right. We've got Kalani Brown here. If you have a question for her, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll call on you. Christina Williams, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Kalani, it's Christina Williams with Girls Talk Sports TV. After getting your first couple practices and games in with this Atlanta Dream group, what can you say about the identity of this team?
You know, we're gelling, we're learning each other. Everybody likes one another. And I think when a team comes together like that, I won a national championship like that, with everybody clicking on all cylinders and just the chemistry's flowing. So it's a really special team.
Again, if you have a question for Kalani, please raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, go ahead.
Hey, Kalani. Obviously, you have this roster with a ton of guards on it, and then you have people like you who are obviously not guards. Can you talk about maybe how the team is going to be most successful? With you setting them up and them setting you up, how you're really playing with synergy.
Oh yeah, we've got so many weapons on the perimeter, and that just opens up the paint for me, for people not to sag in on me. In practice, I'm on the team with Ari, and also in transition, we're running in transition. So I like guards that make me run. We can attack from any position, and it's almost kind of scary. Once we get it down and we learn each other, I don't know, pair that with the chemistry, we have a dangerous team. So I'm really excited for this season.
B. Terrell, go ahead.
Hey, Kalani, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So you go from your first season in Atlanta and then playing internationally, and then COVID hits. And then you go to the bubble, and then you go have that, tough season there in the bubble, and then back overseas. What has self-care looked like for you to really just keep you grounded mentally, personally, socially, professionally? It's been tough.
It has definitely been tough for me. I caught COVID in the bubble, and that was just a really low point where I thought, self-care looks like meditation. I'm into my spirituality very deeply. I'm in tune with God, and I just prayed about it, but self-care can look like anything from a soaking bath to a guided meditation, or just 10-minute prayer, just to ground myself. Just like you said, I'm grounded in gratitude, and I just have to remember the little victories that I've come up with. So I do mostly meditation. I'm into yoga. I got into that after the bubble, more so overseas, and I just been into my spiritual journey recently. So.
And we'll go back to Christina Williams for the last question. Go ahead, Christina.
So you're entering into your third season as a professional women's basketball player, and you look like you're in the best shape of your life. I've seen them Instagram pictures, girl, with the bikinis and everything. How have you grown as a player?
Definitely with these hard times and these hardships, I had to learn to persevere. I think quarantine kind of was a punch in the mouth for me and a kind of a wake-up call last year. And so this year I was like, okay, I have to do better. This is the worst I've ever been. And it's just about locking in. Like, I'm just locked in this year, and I'm ready to contribute.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kalani. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we've got Shekinna Stricklen here. If you have a question for her, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll call on you. B. Terrell, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Strick, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So obviously you're one of the vets on the team. What does leadership look like from you on the court and off the court?
Just for me is I'm more like a different. I like talking to people one-on-one. Just trying to just keep everyone together, chemistry, just talking, that way. But off the court, it's just us with a lot of new players, a lot of new teammates. We just gotta, get that chemistry on the court and off the court. I think that's gonna be big for us this season.
Christina Williams, go ahead.
Hey, Strick, just to follow up with B. Terrell, I mean, you just mentioned like there's a lot of young players on the team. What stands out to you in particular about some of the young players like Ari and Kennedy Carter?
Well, definitely from last year, I can see growth already in Kennedy already from last year. But I think Ari coming in, she's willing to learn. She's she asking questions, like she's willing to learn. And I just love that they both are willing to learn and they asking questions and they both know really great.
Last call for questions. Christina Williams, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, I have sort of a fun question. The WNBA obviously is entering its 25th anniversary season. Can you share one of your most memorable moments from your career?
For me, I would have to say hitting the game winner in I think 2018 at New York. Been by far one of my best moments.
And last question, we'll go back to B. Terrell. Go ahead.
I guess Christina and I are going to play ping pong off of each other. I'm going to follow up that question. Something that we do, especially on Women's Basketball Weekly, we like to ask, what was your welcome to the WNBA moment? If it's a tough player that you had to guard maybe, or someone that guarded you, can you remember back in your rookie season?
I don't think it's more about the guarding. I think when I came in as a rookie, I had so many legends, like legends on the team. Tina Thompson, I got to play with Sue, Lauren Jackson, Tamika Johnson. It just went on. I think that was something big for me. But as a rookie, I also, I I think that was a big thing for me. Who I got to play with and learn from, and they was tough on me.
All right, thanks, Strick.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.